Path grids are used to have characters move around in the scene that are not controlled by the player. If I click and drag, I'll bring a path grid into the scene. These squares indicate where AI-controlled characters can walk. If a character is outside of this square, they won't be able to move around with any of the move actions that we'll try out later. To edit the path grid, you'll have to go into the inspector once it's selected in the view. There are a couple of components here that are displayed using the default Unity styling. We don't have a window for editing path grids, so you have to use this inspector view. You can use a static path grid script to adjust some of its properties, including the X size, how wide it is, the Y size, how tall it is, the offset, where it's positioned in the level, and the scale, how fine-tuned the movement is. When a character walks, it walks from square to square, so the smaller these squares are, the more fine-tuned you can get on your movement. 3 is a good default number. If you want to carve out a grid, what you can do is you can add walkable colliders. To do this, we need to use the hierarchy view. We don't have this built into Mazer Maker yet. Find your path grid, right-click on it, and create an empty object. Add a collider to this. You can either use a sphere or a box collider. I'll go with a box collider. I can adjust the size of the box collider with these values over here. This is its size in pixels. I need to go back to my path grid, and in the inspector, under the walkable colliders, I need to move that object into this list by clicking and dragging it and dropping it on the walkable colliders. Now I can see that the path grid has a hole cut in it where my collider is. If I move that collider, it'll move what areas are cut out. You can adjust colliders to adjust where characters can and can't walk on a path grid, using this to chop off sections where the NPC shouldn't be able to walk. If you adjust anything with the path grid, it's important that you apply the changes to the prefab by selecting the path grid in the hierarchy and hitting this apply button. If you don't apply these changes, then when you reload the level, your colliders will be gone and you'll have to rebuild them.